Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a pretty incredible plan to mash up artificial intelligence with agriculture. And it all boils down to one huge question. Can a line of code actually change what happens in the soil? Let's get into it.
So this isn't just some thought experiment, right? This is a massive, real-world challenge for millions of farmers in Maharashtra, which is one of India's most critical agricultural states. We're talking about their livelihoods and, frankly, our food supply facing some really serious threats.
I mean, Maharashtra is an absolute powerhouse. They're a top producer of everything from cotton and soybeans to grapes and mangoes. But all that success is, well, it's at a tipping point. It's a choice between sticking with tradition while the risks pile up or taking a leap into a totally new tech-driven future. Okay, so to really get why a high-tech policy like this is even on the table, we first have to understand the stakes. Because this isn't just about crops, it's about millions and millions of people. Just let this number sink in for a second. Over half of the entire state's population depends directly on agriculture. That is a staggering number of people. It means that any pressure on farming isn't just some line item in an economic report. It's a huge societal issue. The well-being of the whole state is literally tied to the health of its farms. Now, here's where it gets really tough. It's not just one of these problems. It's how they all slam into each other to create this perfect storm. You've got unpredictable weather, which leads to water shortages. That, in turn, drives up the cost of essentials like fertilizer and seeds. And then even if you get a good harvest, the market might not give you a fair price. It's this constant, exhausting battle against uncertainty. So, faced with this perfect storm, the government of Maharashtra decided not to go with a small fix. Nope. Instead, they've drafted this bold, super comprehensive, and really forward-thinking plan to use technology to tackle these challenges head-on. And this is the key. This isn't just about giving farmers a better weather app. We are talking about a 5-year plan to weave AI and things like drones and smart sensors into every single step of farming. From planting the seed to managing the crop, all the way to selling it at the market. It's a total reboot of the system. And this quote from the policy, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? The ambition here is huge. The goal isn't just to fix their own problems. It's to build a blueprint, a model that other parts of India and maybe even other countries could use to solve similar challenges. All right, so that's the grand vision. But how do you actually build this so-called digital farm? An ambitious idea is one thing, but what are the actual tools that are going to make it a reality? The whole strategy is built on this really smart 3-step foundation. First, you collect the data. They're building something called AID-DEX, the Agricultural Data Exchange. Think of it like a secure, shared library for all kinds of farm data. Second, you test the ideas. They're creating a sandbox, basically a safe digital playground for startups and innovators to try out new AI tools without any risk. And finally, you deploy the best stuff as real tools for farmers, like personalized advice apps and systems that can trace food all the way from the farm to your plate. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. This is the fundamental shift they're aiming for. It's moving from being reactive, fixing problems after they happen, to being predictive, seeing them coming before they even start. It's about swapping out that generic, one-size-fits-all advice for hyper-personalized, data-driven recommendations tailored for one specific farm. You know, a great idea and a great set of tools are fantastic, but we all know an idea is only as good as its execution. So the big question is, how does this actually go from a policy document to something that works in a real field? And who's in charge? So to manage this whole thing, they've set up a really clear 3-level structure. You've got the big picture guys at the top, the steering committee, setting the overall direction. Then there's a technical committee, a group of experts making sure the projects are actually sound and financially viable. And then, crucially, you have the on-the-ground team, the innovation center, which is like the engine room, managing the day-to-day work with startups and all that data. It's a setup built for both high-level strategy and real-world action. And look, they're not trying to do everything at once, which is super smart. It's a phased rollout. The first 3 months are just about getting the foundation set up. Then, by 9 months, the first pilot projects will be up and running. If those pilots are successful, they start to scale up across the state within a year. And after 3 years, there's a big pit stop to review everything, see what's working, what isn't, and fine-tune the whole approach. So, after all the talk about committees and timelines and tech, what's the bottom line here? What does this all really mean for the future of farming in Maharashtra and for the people this whole policy is supposed to help? Well, first, let's talk about the money. They are putting their money where their mouth is. The policy is kicking off with a proposed budget of 500 crore rupees. To put that in perspective, that's over 60 million US dollars. That signals a really serious commitment to getting this digital foundation built and getting those first projects off the ground.
And this is the whole point. This is the why behind all of it. All the tech, the data, the committees, it's all meant to deliver these very real, tangible benefits. We're talking about bigger harvests, being better prepared for droughts or floods, cutting down on costs, and getting better prices at the market. It's about turning bits and bytes of data into a better livelihood.
You know, when you step back, the vision here is powerful. It is incredibly ambitious. It seems to have the structure, the funding, and the tech to really change an entire sector. But the ultimate question, the true test of its success, is going to be whether this digital revolution can actually bridge that last mile and truly reach and empower every single farmer, especially the ones in the most remote villages. That's the real challenge, and for sure, the world will be watching.